So my name is Otilia. Thank you so much, Juan. You forgot the cool part. You forgot the equivalent of the movie. I'm from the country of Dracula, so don't give me garlic. Just kidding. So it's such an honor to be here today, and because the time is very short, normally this presentation is about a couple of days that I do, so this was a real challenge trying to break this into 45 minutes. What brings me here today is a little story that started about 20 years ago. I was an executive in the corporate world. I worked in an office, like many of you do. And after a while of doing that, I got really, really sick. I put on weight, I got depression, and it got to the point that one day I ended up in the emergency room with a burst tumor. And the cool part, might sound weird because I'm saying cool, is the doctor in the morning after level 3 morphine told me that I should go home and take Tylenol 3. And that I would be just fine and that it was normal. And I was 31 years of age at the time. And so something in me changed that day because I said, how can this be normal? How can it be that I haven't been sick in my whole life and I just woke up one day at 3 o'clock in the morning and ended up in the emergency room. And now I'm going home with this tumor that burst. And that led me on a journey of self-discovery. And literally in about 2 months, maybe a little bit less, I healed myself from the inside out with something that all of you in this room tried today. And it may seem a little strange, and it may seem that it's not very powerful, but that little drink that you're all holding in your hands and we all tried has the power to change who you are. And that's what I want to talk about to you all today. Because here's the thing. You're all business owners, you're all entrepreneurs, you all have a life and families and relationships. And the one thing that I learned that changed my life was that I could do everything in my life so much better if I felt my very best. Does that make sense? Anybody in this room wants to have more energy? Anybody in this room wants to lose some weight? Hey, I lost 20 pounds, so I'll be the first one to say that was in my journey too, so we're good. Anybody here feels tired at 3 o'clock and runs for the coffee and muffin? Come on, who are my fellow peeps out there? Anybody? So I was a coffee and cinnamon bun girl. Everybody knows a Kia cinnamon bun? Right, we've got it on Kia. Used to have like an inch of frosting, and then I used to go and ask for like another inch and pay an extra $1. And if my boyfriend told me they were going to IKEA, I would be like, yes, even if I absolutely needed nothing for the house. So that was me. 5 coffees a day, cinnamon, something sweet, and I thought that that's what gave me energy. And I thought that that's what I needed to perform better, or to do more work, or to, if I had a presentation, to have more energy. I thought that's where it came from, because I learned that from my family and friends and society and TV and all of that fun places, right? And so this journey of getting really, really sick and sort of watch my life flash before my eyes type of thing, changed everything, because I was like, oh my God, something's going on. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I just knew that after 31 years of eating red meat and chicken liver and chicken brains and stuff like that, because I'm Romanian, that's what we eat. Not just kidding. But that's what I really ate, because I was anemic, and so my mom would make these big slabs of liver, and I had to eat that with tomato sauce so I could get more iron in my diet. And so the funny thing was, after eating about 10 pounds of liver a week, my iron was the lowest it could be, and I would be going to the hospital with like IV shots. So here's the funny thing. In Romania, they say, if you stop eating meat, you're going to die. Anybody heard that before? Yeah. Somebody's got to heard that before, right? Especially Italian or Romanian or Portuguese or something. And so when I told my family that I was going plant-based and that I was going to stop drinking coffee and eating cheese and bread and meat, they literally thought I was going to die. And if I showed you the messages on my phone, which I still have, it's kind of hilarious. Now here's the funny part. I stopped eating all those things. 2 months, actually 52 days. And in 52 days, I went back to the doctor. And for the first time in my whole life, my iron levels were back to normal. I'm just going to say that one more time because I think it's pretty cool. I ate grass and I ate blended weird things like you're drinking today. And in 2 months, I lost 15 pounds. I was no longer depressed. My iron levels were normal. I no longer had women hormonal issues and whatever. And the doctor said it was a miracle. He had no clue. He just said it was a miracle. We don't know. 31 years of eating chicken liver, we don't know what happened. Do you guys want to know what happened? Anybody wants to know how to do the same? That's it? Okay, I'm going home. All right, so here's the cool thing. The topic of today is really very simple. I know you guys are all very, very busy professionals, and from what I understand from Lola, many of you spend a lot of time in the office, or you spend a lot of time in hospitals, or traveling, and one big issue that you don't have is time. Does that kind of sound right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, before we get going to cool stuff, I'll just tell you one thing. We all have 24 hours. The President of the United States has 24 hours. So does the Dalai Lama, so do I, so does Lola, so do all of you. So the question really is it really the time? Maybe it's not. And I challenge you all of you to think about that a little bit today. But what I always share with you is something that I've learned to maybe use my time a little bit differently and to treat my body a little differently. And what I learned is when I eat foods that give me energy, then I can think better. I used to be an executive and I worked about 80, 90 hours a week. And I was exhausted. And I would go home and I would just be a couch potato. And that was it. Saturday, Sunday, sleep all day, eat cinnamon bun and coffee. And 31 years later, that was the consequence of that, right? Now, today I work 120 hours a week. And I sometimes can't even go to sleep because I have too much energy and liquor. And so I have 2 businesses. I have this restaurant, I have a relationship, I'm a stepmom, I wrote a book, I created my business, and it's not because I am any more special than any one of you guys. It's just because through the pain that I went through, I learned some things that I want to share with you today. And so what I promised that I was going to do is I put things as concise and simple and easy for you guys that you can take them home. And if you forget everything that I say right now, you all have a piece of paper in your little binder that's called 10 Steps to Increase Your Energy. And Lola made sure she put that there for you guys. So you don't have to follow it, but the presentation today kind of goes over that. And here's the cool thing. You can put that on your fridge in the kitchen, or you can take a picture of it and keep it in your phone. And you can literally start with like one thing. You know, read all of it and say, I like number 5. Start doing that. And you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to do all of them. But start with a little bit. And I promise you, the day you get to do all of those things, at least a little bit per day, will be the day that you're going to tell me, I feel different. I have more energy, I can think better. Alright? So let's start with one of my favorite little charts. If you can't see what it says, that's okay. Dr. Maslow was a psychologist who created this pyramid many years ago, and it's the hierarchy of needs. And the thing that struck me the most about it is that anything, like, whether we, the importance of relationships, or our careers, or our goals, or our families, or our own personal self-actualization, they all have something at the very bottom, right there, that holds the entire pyramid, that holds everything in our life together. And that's our health. It's our physiological needs. Which one am I? This. There we are, our physiological needs. Now, the part that this pyramid is missing, it says right here, food, water, and sleep. Okay, well, everybody eats, right? Everybody drinks water, everybody sleeps. So here's my question. Why don't we all get the same results? Why do some of us have more energy than others, and some are less stressed or more stressed than others, or some of us are more successful, or we achieve our goals? There's a reason for that. Because not all food, not all water, and not all sleep is equal. They're not all the same. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. So that's your secret, and that right there is what we're going to dig in today, because you could be eating the best food in the world. If you don't really know what's inside, it's going to have its own consequences on all of this. All right? And so we're going to start with something that changed my life a few years ago, and I never knew this. Do you guys know, actually, raise your hands and look at your palm. Everybody, look at your palm. Do you guys know this is not the same palm you had last year? Well, it might look the same, doesn't it? Well, because your entire body changes, I don't know where it is, in about a year. You have a brand new liver once a month. Did you guys know that? No. So here's the thing. In short, without taking many years of science and all that fun stuff, the body regenerates all the time. And every single moment of time that I flick my fingers like this, 7 billion cells in your liver just died. 7 billion, 14, whatever, 21. And another 7 billion are born in the same moment. So the body is through this constant cycle of renewal. And it regenerates itself using a code, kind of like computer code, which is our DNA. And it's our genes, right? And it's the food that we eat and the foods that we consume. And so literally, you are what you eat. You are also what you drink. You are also what you think, as one of our colleagues spoke earlier today about mindfulness. And so not all food is made equal, and not all water is all equal, and not all thoughts are all equal, as she spoke today already. And so this is where we need to look at, because you have a chance to really, really change things. And if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, you can change that. And if you're tired, you can change that. Because it's not a problem. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you don't know what you're doing. It's 20% mechanics and it's 80% psychology. Right? And so today we're going to learn simple mechanics, like simple things that you guys can go home, you can bring that sheet, put it in the office, you can do this anywhere. And I made it as easy as possibly could. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is, I was looking for a cinnamon picture, but I couldn't find one, because I'm so proud that I don't eat that anymore. So it's a coffee and a muffin type thing. So many people are really overwhelmed today by the whole world of nutrition. Anybody feels overwhelmed here? Like, do you feel like you're like reading the news and the newspaper, and that one book says, eat tomatoes, and the other book says, don't eat tomatoes, they're going to kill you. Yeah. And you, without any formal education, you're like, all right, well, what do I do? And so because of overwhelm and because of stress, many of us, myself included, we take shortcuts. And sometimes we raise our hand and say, I don't know, should I eat tomatoes? Should I not eat tomatoes? Who knows, right? And so we kind of give up, and we're like, you know what, this is too much, I don't know what to do. And so we go for short-term solutions. Right? Because the coffee and a muffin, tell me honestly, how many minutes do you feel awake after a coffee and a muffin before you crash? Come on, 20 minutes? Anybody goes to 1 hour? Because it's not sustainable energy, right? All it literally does is it pumps your system with fake sugar that activates the opiates in your brain, and you feel like, yay, I'm Superman or Superwoman, and an hour or 2 hours later, you go back for the same thing, right? And so how would it feel for you guys to eat in a certain way or drink in a certain way so you can have energy all the time without coffee? Wouldn't that be amazing? Right? Without the crashes, without the tiredness, without the brain fog. Anybody here has brain fog, or was it just me? Right? It's very, very popular, like not popular in a good way, but a lot of people experience that. A lot of people suffer from anxiety and depression and headaches and weight problems, and all of it starts with what you put in your mouth every single day and the choices that you make. So let's learn a few things quickly. 10 simple things, we're going to go through that. So the number one thing that unfortunately many diets today, like I've studied over 175 different diets, honestly. And at the end of it, I was really confused. Because one said, eat meat and eat tomatoes, and the other one said don't, and I didn't know what to do. And so after studying this for about 10 years, what I noticed is many people get on this diet train. They do this and they do that, the paleo and the ketosis and the vegetarian and the vegan and the raw. But you see, what they all are missing is one crucial aspect, and that's hydration. Because I'll tell you something, this is such a basic thing. And maybe when I tell you that I'm going to tell you to drink more water, you're going to be like, really, Otilia? Like, that's what I came here, so you can tell me to drink more water? Well, yeah, because I'm going to tell you to drink the right type of water. Because if you're drinking tap water, you've got a big problem. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Because even though we're lucky in Toronto that most of our water is a lot cleaner than around the world, a lot of water has a lot of chemical residue. If your home is anywhere older than 10 years, you've got a big challenge. And I highly suggest you get your home water tested. So unfortunately, today is no longer a day where you can just willfully open the tap and not have to worry about what you're drinking. And so the biggest thing that I'd like to share with you, here's a few things to choose, and here's a few things to avoid, okay? And all this is on your sheet, so you don't have to worry if you don't remember that. But it's really important. So you want to avoid too much tap water. A lot of people now invest in filters, right? And they get alkaline water and purified water. Like there's 100 different types of water nowadays. Let me tell you something. Whether it's alkaline or purified or whatever other process, it all starts with tap water. Does that make sense? So some of it had all the minerals removed, and some of it had minerals added back to it, but nothing ever is going to replace spring water, which is the way the water was intended by nature, which is the way that it comes from the mountains and the rivers and the springs. So I know it's not very easy today, especially in Toronto, to have access to that, but it's really unbelievable. There's, for example, a website called findaspring.com, and I honor those people because they literally have springs all over the world, and you can search it, and it tells you that we're very lucky outside of Toronto. We have many places. There's a lot of companies today that also deliver spring water. And another way that you can increase your energy and make sure you drink live water is by drinking fresh green juices. And what I mean by that, I don't mean anything that comes in a can or in a bottle or anything you would buy at the store. Though some companies today make raw juices. I literally mean using a juicer and getting a cucumber and celery and apples and cilantro, kind of similar to what we did today, and drinking live water, which is the water that comes from the fruits and vegetables. Does that make sense? All right? So you can never compare that with regular tap water, which has absolutely nothing in it. Some tap water in Toronto actually has the chemical residue of chemotherapy patients in hospitals.
What was that website you said?
Findaspring.com. Awesome website. Some of the springs also have been chemically tested, and you can kind of see what is regularly tested to make sure that it's a good spring. Really awesome. So remember, the number one goal is you want to drink as much clean water as possible. Now, you might be hearing a lot of people say, well, how much water should I be drinking? You know what? Many people don't drink enough water, and they're so obsessed with 3 liters and 2 liters and whatever. The rule is very simple. It's about half your body weight in ounces per day. And so, if you exercise, you need to drink more. If it's humid and hot outside, you need to drink a little bit more. But you want to be drinking live water. And here's another little small tip of advice for you that changed my life completely. When you wake up in the morning is the most important time of the day to drink water. Because your body gets really, really acidic when you sleep at night. All the toxins come out of our systems, and you want to flush those out. And that's our only chance to do that, because once you start eating any kind of fiber and the digestive system begins to work, that's it. The detoxification process slows down completely, right? So for example, in the morning, I easily drink about 2 liters of liquid before I have anything solid. Okay? So if you want to lose weight, if you want to have more energy, if you want to get rid of headaches, right? If you want to have better skin and lighter complexion, you want to be drinking a lot of live water, and the most important time of the day is? Morning. Good job. All right. Now, supercharge your water. You might have seen on the table outside today that I had a couple of superfoods I added in your smoothies, and I love that. Like, my smoothies at home have at least 20 or 30 different superfoods. It's kind of crazy. I feel like, those witches from the old times have like herbs and weird stuff in my kitchen. And anyway, I love to do that because superfoods are normal foods like anything else that have a very high level of nutrition. So for example, the camu, I spoke to some of you, it's a berry. It's the same family as cherries and blueberries and whatnot. But 1 teaspoon of that powder made out of the fruit has about 1,300% of your daily vitamin C requirement. 1,300%. An orange has about 30%. So when the doctor says, go home and take vitamin C from the store and drink orange juice, in comparison to a teaspoon of that, you see the difference, right? So if you're sick, that's something really great that you can supplement with. And so you can add superfoods like MSM. MSM is a chemical compound that our bodies naturally contain that unfortunately, because the way the earth has been treated, is no longer available in food. It's called methyl sulfate methane. And this chemical is a white powder. It's $9. You buy this from the health store and you put it in the water and it literally increases your energy like you won't believe. You do that for 10 days, you won't believe the difference. There's actually something called like an energy bomb, an MSM energy bomb, where people take like a tablespoon. Tastes really bad, don't do it. But start with like a half a teaspoon per liter and you can work your way up. You can also add green powders. And what green powders are, it's really simple. It's a bunch of vegetables and herbs that have been dehydrated and mixed together. So you can get really good green powders from the health store that have, wheatgrass and herbs and spinach and broccoli and like a million things. And they're so amazing because, especially for you guys that spend so much time in the office or on the run, right? You can keep one of these in the car and just put a teaspoon of it in a bowl of water, shake it, and you're good to go. And I promise you, like 1 teaspoon of that is like having a whole bowl of salad. Okay? Who here has a hard time getting more greens in their diet? Come on, I should be seeing 90 hands here because it's not easy today, right? Especially when you guys are so busy. It's hard to make that happen. And so this is one of my favorite ways to drink water. And I have a little can in the car that I can just dump it whenever I need to. So really, really amazing stuff. So that's the power of hydration. That was number 1. And you've got all these on your sheet so that you know what to do. The second thing is alkalinity and energy. So just like our body has our temperature, which regulates our health, and it has to maintain constant, there's another system that very few people know about, and that's the pH level, which is potential hydrogen. And so that number, 7.356, is regulated in the body by what we eat. So some foods are very alkaline, and some foods are very acidic. Okay, just to keep this really, really simple. Here's how it is. Anything that's a vegetable and a fruit, most fruits, are alkaline. Everything else is acidic. Simple, right? So meats, grains, cheese, pastas, chocolate, peanuts, cooked food, cooked vegetables, all of those are acidic. And you don't have to worry if you don't see this. Actually, if you guys want, you can go to the website and download this later, so you don't have to worry about it. But anything that's yellow and red is very acidic, and anything that's blue and purple and green is alkaline. So here's the thing. In order for the body to maintain this number, that magical number that you don't have to remember, it needs about 80% food to come from there, and about 20% to come from here. So let me show you something a little bit further down. If you guys eat, for example, this is a bowl of pasta, right? Pasta is a grain, very acidic. It's like a 5. And it has some chicken in it. And can you guys see like little dots of green? Like little dots? People in the back can see little green dots? That's spinach. So can you guys tell me how much of alkaline stuff is in there? Anybody? Come on, 1%? And the spinach is cooked. It's not even alkaline anymore. Okay, so here's the thing. How many people eat pasta with chicken and spinach and think it's healthy? Because I used to live on that, right? And after spinach, I was like, oh my God, it's so much better. And if it's chicken, it's not beef, it's so much healthier for you. So you eat this for dinner, your pH is going to drop to around 5. And from me to you, a pH of 5 is pure suicide. Because if you live there, it's where cancer thrives. And there was research studies that have proven in an alkaline body, listen to me carefully, in an alkaline body, disease cannot exist. Are you guys as excited about that as I am? Because when I learned that, I was like, holy smokes, really? Really? That I have the power to make that happen? And so here's what happens. When you have that bowl of pasta for dinner, and your body pH drops to 5, the body says, well, I can't let that happen. I gotta do something because I don't want these wonderful people to die. So then he takes all the minerals and the vitamins that you have stored in your bones and your cells, and he uses them to keep the pH where it's supposed to be. And that's step 1 of osteoporosis, by the way. So if anybody here suffers of osteoporosis and you're taking calcium, especially if it's the synthetic kind from the store, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to start eating like this, right? Where 80% of your food is green stuff, green vegetables and broccoli and asparagus and whatnot. Mostly raw, some cooked. And the body's going to be able to maintain that pH very easily without resorting to anything, so you can keep those minerals. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm using some very simple examples here. Let's go back to where we were. To be able to understand alkalinity. And so here's a simple thing. You guys can go to my website. You can download this chart, put it on your fridge, or keep it in your phone. When you go shopping, you pull it out and you look at your shopping cart and say, okay, I gotta make sure my shopping cart is 80% from this category. Is that simple? Easy enough to do? You can start with 1 meal per day. It doesn't have to be all of them. And you know what? You don't even have to cook it. If you guys are busy and you're going out to buy something, right? Or if you were having lunch here today or anywhere, you can make the same decisions, right? So fill up your plate, make sure you have a big salad all the time, and make sure that your meats and potatoes type thing, they don't make up, or the pasta, 80%. You've got to literally flip the switch. And this is such an easy thing to do, and you don't have to feel deprived, because it's not about not eating those things. It's just about reversing the ratio and making sure the pasta and the chicken are the 20%, and then all the green stuff is the 80%. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. Great. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the energy. And what you're looking at here, this is a cooked tomato, and this is a raw tomato. A cooked broccoli and a raw broccoli. And so many years ago, there was a famous photographer who found a way to take pictures. It's a picture of the energy of food, because all food has energy, and that's the energy that you get. So if you feel tired, it's because you've eaten food that does not have energy. And so what happens when we cook food, a lot of the nutrients and the enzymes and the phytochemicals and the energy is lost. And so this doesn't mean we're not going to eat cooked food anymore. It simply means that you want to eat another one of those ratios. And there's a study that was proven that when you eat 50 or 51% cooked food, right? So more cooked food than raw food, the body actually gets into a process where it attacks its own immune system, because cooked food is actually foreign for our bodies. Yes?
What about frozen food from
Very good question. Frozen food, as long as it was frozen fresh upon being picked, it's considered to be raw food. It does lose a little bit, but not very much, because being frozen properly, it's actually a way to preserve food for much longer. So myself personally, for example, if I'm going to eat wild blueberries, I buy frozen wild blueberries that came from Poland, because they have the best wild blueberries in the whole world. I go to the Polish store and I buy a whole bag for half the price. And I don't really buy fresh blueberries in the summer, because they came from California, picked when they were green, and they have no nutritional value. Does that make sense? All right. So I know I'm dumping a lot of you guys, but honestly, if you have any questions, you can come and see me back there. And if any of you guys need a consultation or something, I'd be happy to just talk to you over the phone. No problem. Yes?
What about wild blueberries? Are they different from the regular ones?
Wild blueberries are very different from regular blueberries. 99% of regular blueberries have been hybridized or genetically modified. And so they don't have the nutritional strength. A normal blueberry is about this size. If you see a blueberry this size, please, for the love of God, don't buy it. It's not a real blueberry. Okay? If you don't trust me, come to me. I will show you under my microscope. So blueberries with these size, they're really tiny, can be very, very sweet, and you can buy them frozen. Like I said, there's this place that I really love called Yummy Market, which is a Polish grocery store. There's two of them in Toronto, and you can buy these really big bags for like a really good price.
Yeah.
Yummy Market. Yummy Market. I don't work for them, I swear. All right. So what we're looking here at the bottom are goji berries and cacao nibs. Goji berries and cacao nibs are superfoods. I'm not going to get into all of that. The reason why they have so much energy is because they are superfoods. Chocolate. Who here has ever been told that chocolate is bad for you? Okay, you guys have to start eating more chocolate. Chocolate is the best food in the world. I'm telling you right now, if you eat the right chocolate, and just drink water, you can live on that for the rest of your life and eat just fine. This is the good news, right? So you're not going to remember anything I say, but you're going to remember the chocolate, right? All right, okay, so let's keep going. I'll talk about chocolate more in a couple minutes. So guys, remember, you want to eat a minimum of half of your plate has to be raw. Okay, so it's very easy to do. If you were having lunch here today, you put a big bunch of vegetables on your plate and then a small piece of chicken, and you've got alkaline food and you've got the raw ratio. So it's not hard to do. If you're not able to have a salad, what's the trick? Come on, I'm going to hold you guys accountable. What did I say? If you can't have salad, you can have smoothie. Who said green powders? You get a free book. Awesome. That's it, green powders. Go to the health store today. Go to the health store, buy a green powder, keep it in your car, put it in your water, and your life will change. I promise. All right, let's keep moving. So here are some easy tips. Each one of these, by the way, is like a seminar all on its own. So I'm going to quickly glance through them, and if you have questions, I can address them after. So you want to swap vegetable oils like canola, safflower, and safflower should be coming out of your diet, and you need to replace them with unrefined coconut oil, extra virgin olive oils, avocado oils, udo's oils. All of these are man-made and purely artificial, and the body doesn't know what to do with them. If anybody has heart disease, cholesterol problems, triglyceride problem, diabetes, you should not be eating any of those. Clear enough? All right, let's keep moving. You want to replace refined honey. You want to replace processed honey, simple sugars, artificial sweeteners with raw honey, coconut sugar, date sugar. Those ones, even though they have a still high glycemic because they're sugars, they have a lot of nutrients that actually help your body to metabolize sugar in much healthier ways. You want to don't eat roasted nuts, because if you've eaten them roasted, they've lost all their nutritional value. And if the doctor says go and eat almonds because they're good for you, they are. But you need to be eating raw almonds that have been soaked. It is the only way that they're good for you. Roasted nuts have a lot of oils on them that on the shelf in the store have gone rancid, and they have very little nutritional value. Okay, processed foods, replace them with superfoods. Don't drink juices from bottles. They're just pure sugar. I promise you, any type of juice that you get from a bottle is the same as eating white sugar with a spoon. Eating white flour is the same as eating white sugar with a spoon. Okay, so for lack of time, I'll tell you things to shock you a little bit. Like, what are you talking about, Otilia? So you can come in and ask me later to go into a bit more detail, but for now, please remember that, because all of those are very highly processed. So they don't have the nutritional components to help your body regulate that sugar, which is what causes obesity and diabetes and all kinds of problems like that. Replace corn-fed meats with grass-fed meats, ocean farm fish with wild fish, and GMO vegetables with organic local vegetables. Anybody here is vegetarian? Just out of curiosity. If you're eating GMO tomatoes, you're not vegetarian, because they have fish genes in them. Just saying. Something to think about. Power of superfoods. 1 shot of wheatgrass is the equivalent of about 1 kilogram of vegetables. So 1 shot of wheatgrass per day, something really, really amazing that you guys can do for yourself. Here's the cacao thing. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but very quickly. Anybody knows the difference between cacao and cocoa? This is the stuff that keeps you alive forever. This is the stuff that doesn't keep you alive forever. 2 O's is bad, 2 A's is good. Got it? So next time you buy chocolate, you want to look for 2 A's. If you see 2 O's, what do? Right away. You got it. We're good. We can move on. I got 10 minutes. All right, so let's move on. Food combining. Food combining is a very little trick that I've learned. I'm going to share with you guys today. Anybody who wants to lose weight and increase metabolism, this is amazing. It's a science that's been existing for hundreds of years that basically says different foods require different enzymes to be broken in the body. Got it? Without being too scientific. Meats require a certain type of enzymes, vegetables different types. If you eat those meats together, meats and vegetables and potatoes and fat, in the same meal, then those enzymes in the stomach are going to interact with each other, right? What happens when you put lemon juice and olive oil together? They neutralize each other. So when you eat something like this, just a giant steak, 3 pieces of asparagus, just 3, and a big potato, it's not alkaline, it's not raw, it's going to give you a pH of about 5. And in addition to that, it's not going to follow this rule. This meal takes about 14 hours to digest. 14 hours. So if you have that at nighttime and then you can't sleep, that's why. Because your digestive system keeps working and working and working and you can't relax and sleep. So eating heavy foods at nighttime is not a good idea. All right, digestion and cleansing. So anybody here, they don't want to cleanse? Anybody's afraid of cleansing? Detoxifying? No, that's really good. So I had a client the other day who came and told me, she's like, I don't want to do a detox program because I don't want to detoxify. And you know what I said? You can't have a choice because you're doing it right now. So all of you in this room right now, you're detoxifying. The problem is you're not detoxifying well enough because we're stagnant and we're not moving and it's all kinds of reasons. But we're all doing it. It's a very normal process. And the problem is that today, because we have very sedentary lives and thousands of chemicals in the air, our systems are clogged up. So here's a few ideas that you can use to begin to detoxify properly. This is not a detox program. This is not that. That's what I do with my clients. This is just simple day-to-day stuff that you can do. And for anybody here who works at home, who are the translators that work at home, you guys gotta get yourself a rebounder. A rebounder, this guy with a little trampoline, it's the most amazing thing in the world. You translate 10 words, you do 10 jumps. You translate 10 words. It's awesome. Listen, if you stay in your chair at home on the computer for more than an hour without moving, you're literally destroying your brain cells. Okay? The lymphatic system, which is a system that we have in our entire body, is a system that keeps us alive and that takes all the toxins out. There's actually tribes in India where if an older person wants to die, they feel like they're no longer a good member of the tribe, they go and they tie themselves up like this against a tree in 24 hours and they pass away. Because in that type of stagnant position, the lymphatic system stops working and the body doesn't work. Okay? So it's really, really, really important. And it's so easy. You don't even have to jump off of it. You just need to slightly move, half an inch up and down, just like that. You can watch TV, you can watch a movie, you can listen to music. So it's a very, very easy way to do that. The lady who spoke before, and forgive me, I don't remember her name, spoke about breathing. Your lungs is the most powerful way to detoxify. Okay? It's not our stomachs, it's not anything else, it's our lungs. So deep breathing is really important. I believe she gave you a ratio of 7-7-7. Is that right? You guys remember that? Because I heard it. Inhale for 7, hold for 7, exhale for 7. So doing something like that every morning and night is really amazing. Sweating, sweating, going to the sauna, exercising, those things are really important. Your skin is the biggest organ that we have. It needs to cleanse. Hot and cold showers. Hot and cold showers is something very easy. You're showering anyway, so you might as well do them. So very quickly, what it means is you increase the water to as much as you can handle, and then you drop it to as cold as you can handle. That's it. Some of them temperatures can vary. You do that maybe 5 times every time you take a shower. That is going to expand and contract the cells of your body, and they're going to squeeze out the toxins. Does that make sense? Can anybody do that? You can't tell me you don't have time for that one. Shower. All right. Quick things for people who want to lose weight and have more energy. Intermittent fasting. So you don't want to be eating from the first time you wake up until you go to bed. You need to give your digestive system a break. So I don't usually have breakfast until 11 o'clock, and my last meal of the day is around 6:37. So my body has long time to recuperate and regenerate. You want to avoid extremely hot, temperature hot, or cold foods, because they require a lot of energy from the body to bring them back to normal temperature. Does that make sense? Okay? So if you're eating food that's hot, the body has to cool it down, and you're wasting energy that you already maybe not have. Eat fermented foods every day. And the last one is your heaviest meal of the day, like a steak, whoever eats steak or chicken, should be in between 12 and 2 o'clock. That's when our digestive fire is the highest. Okay, and so you don't want to be eating steak and potatoes and stuff like that for dinner, because like I said, it doesn't get digested and then you don't sleep well. All right, movement. We spoke a little bit about the rebounder, so I think every person in the world should have a rebounder. Couple of tips to change how you think about exercise. Anybody here feels like they don't have an hour a day to work out? Come on, it's not just me. Seriously? Okay, anybody has 5 minutes to work out? Anybody has 5 minutes? Okay, we're good. All right, so 5 minutes a day, this is all you need to do. You need to do some sort of simple cardio. You can dance naked in your living room. It is fun. You don't have to go to the gym, okay? That's the good news. You need to move. You need to move, have some sort of cardio, 5 minutes a day on a regular basis. Actually, it's going to give you better results than going to the gym for 1 hour and killing yourself. Going to the gym for 1 hour and killing yourself is actually going to cause more acid buildup. It's not going to give you more energy, okay? If you ever worry that you have to do weights and all that crazy stuff, science has actually shown that if you do resistance training, which is like some sort of a heavy weight type thing, you only need to do it once every 10 days. And that significantly slows aging by about half. This is scientifically proven. You don't have to go to the gym and lift heavy weights every single day. You need to do it 15 minutes once every 10 days. Can anybody make time for that? All right. So simple tips that you can start right away. And the last thing we're going to talk about is stress. Who here is not stressed? Whoever here is not stressed, you're awesome. All right. So in all fairness, research shows that stress is the #1 cause of weight gain, diabetes, and heart disease, even more than food. Because it increases cortisol levels, which basically signals to the brain the fight or flight response that increases sugar level in your bloodstream, and then you gain weight. Anybody here thinks they don't eat a lot and they can't lose weight? I have a lot of clients who feel that way, and it's because we're stressed. So especially, like I said, when you're working a lot and going out and about and having families and companies, it's really important to learn a few tricks to manage that. So, our colleagues spoke about yoga and meditation, but it's some other amazing things. Maca powder is another superfood that you can add to your smoothies, just like I did today. 1 teaspoon of that will increase your energy tremendously. It's an adaptogenic herb that helps to reduce cortisol levels. Any ladies in the room who have hormone problems, ashwagandha is amazing for that. Again, it goes in the body, it kind of figures out what kind of hormone issues you have, and it helps with that. You can take it as an extract. Essential oils. Anybody familiar with essential oils? Like peppermint? Okay? Very quickly, for the people who are traveling, or actually anybody sitting in an office, essential peppermint oil, you put 2 or 3 drops right here on your wrist. You go like this, and you rub it at the very back of your neck right there. You rub that in. Takes away headaches, takes away stress. Easy enough to do? Everyone should have one of those in their purse. Really, really amazing. You can also put them here on your forehead, just you gotta be really careful so it's not too close to your eyes. I like to put it inside my hair, the very top here. It wakes you up. It's like coffee times 1,000. Really awesome stuff. And for sleep, just a couple of tips of advice. I know you guys are working a lot. If you're working on your computers, you need to shut them off at least 20 minutes before you go to bed, because studies are showing that the light from iPhones, iPads, and computers stops melatonin production, which is the process that basically allows you to fall asleep. So if you're having issues sleeping, you need to stop watching those kind of screens before you go to sleep. And last one is to sleep in a dark room. And I've just comprised 2 days and 45 minutes and 50. That was awesome.